I think her matchups have gone a lot better over the last half year. There were many more counters in the past, but PL definitely not on that list anymore.
I love the Centaur as well. Gives you initiation, gives you a hero that will build that utility, but most importantly, it gives you that mobility for Drow, Ranger, and OD to reposition themselves if they get a gap closer. So you can run away, re-engage. Overall, their lineup is very well rounded up.
Yeah. I do think that the key thing about this hero is the flexibility in Stampede in this game. I think there's some games where you pick Stampede and it's you know 80% of the time you're going to use it offensively. In this game, I feel like it's a 50-50, and that's really useful because if you can force out the defensive cooldowns, like we said 3 or 4 times now, that is the only hero in the game that will reset your entire team, apart from like an Underlord ulti or something crazy that's really hard to use. But this is super simple to use, and you look at Nigma's lineup, they have like no stuns. You're just going to run away.
Oh, they go with the Alchemist.
Okay. Well,
still doesn't solve your catch problem, right? You have Rubik, and that's pretty much it. Alchemist at some point can build into that blink stun, but that's very later on in the game if he even goes for that.
I think Alchemist is vulnerable against OD Drow. They hit so hard that he needs a lot of items and he needs a good laning stage, and I don't know if Nigma can give it to him this game.
I have a feeling Nigma are on a timer. There is that 25 perhaps minute mark in which Alchemist and Huskar are going to be really fat, and you have to end the game in that. You have 5 minutes to close the game out. Later on, it's going to be very difficult.
Yep.
All right, so we have pretty much a timer that we are looking at for Nigma. Look for those two to get fat on the Alch and the Huskar. How does RNG win? How do they overcome that moment in the game?
Try to play some tempo early on. And when the enemy team has Huskar and Alchemist, both heroes have a build-up time where they need to farm. If you can take command of the game and get a couple of towers and start, if you own just 60% of the map, I think that's enough. Like, you don't need to take everything. Just get enough control that your strategy gets to get to a point where they can overcome the dangerous 5 minutes.
As long as you're farming as well.
Yeah.
As long as you're getting what you need.
But I feel like you guys really aren't super crazy about this Alchemist pick, is what I'm hearing from you guys so far.
I think it can be great. That's the thing. I totally see the idea, and I believe there's a good chance it wins. PL obviously was the best, but it's gone, right? So you need to think outside of the box. I don't really have a favorite in this game. I think this is one of the closest drafts for me just because there's totally different win conditions, and I don't feel like for once in RNG's games that they have drafted something that trashes the opponents early on.
Overall, I would maybe lean towards RNG just a little bit because of their performances, not truly because of the draft.
Okay, all right. Well, we've heard it from our analysts. Performance is going to be the main thing that's going to be deciding it on the side of Lizard. Sind talking about the draft quite a bit, but I want to hear from our casters. Let's get this grand final started.
So is the greatest question, which team is able to perform during a grand final? It seems like Nigma have this very short window to hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of little power spikes for both teams. Drow and OD, pretty passive for the first 9 or 10 minutes, but then they want to use that first item to start being active. Usually for OD, it's part of the Ags. For Drow, it's maybe just like a Dragon Lance, maybe something like a Yasha. Even then, she still wants to fight in the mid game. And then Alchemist gets that Radiance around 13, 14 minutes, and he doesn't want to fight until about the BKB that he gets after that. So they have that window to punish the Alchemist timing to make it so that Nigma doesn't hit theirs.
See, I'm also wondering, like, on the multiple fronts you try and punish the Alchemist. You're like, you know, you get a Pyke, OD can get involved in things, but what are the objectives they take? Can they stop Nigma from controlling their jungle? Can they stop the Alchemist from potentially having a large amount of stacks? Knowing that Weeha will also have this nice little power spike around that time where he's able to fight, potentially being enabled by his supports.
Yeah, last series we saw Nigma with the PL, that hero just couldn't fight for the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, and he still managed to participate on Miracle, and his hero scaled well into the late game. And even though I wouldn't say Alchemist is the be-all, end-all late game this game, there is going to be a time in the game where he is the strongest hero, and Nigma's done a really good job in games where I doubted them to be able to get to that point where they are the strongest team, and then they make use of that timing. I think Drow is usually punished by the same thing as Alch, where you kind of bully her, you run at her a lot, and I don't think they can really do that. So I think it really frees up RNG to run at the Alchemist, and I am concerned a bit that you're giving Drow pretty much a free first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. And I think RNG has been really good at establishing that lead and then maintaining it. So I'm kind of with Lizard on the fact that because of the performance RNG's had and the way Nigma's clearly wanting to play this kind of stall you out until we hit our timing, I am favoring them this game, but by no means am I doubting Enigma after what they've done so far with the comebacks in the lower bracket.
I almost feel like we need to have like a large clock on the screen that you just read and say, like, this is the 5-minute window that Lizard gave us. We start the clock now. how much damage can Nigma do to then like basically put this game into their bag. But RNG, I love seeing these combinations as well. The SD as well as the Centaur. Very simple to initiate with. Maybe 2 very difficult targets to initiate onto, however. And Weeha versus Setsu, the OD. Weeha having to play against the hero which he was able to dominate with before. GH, well, this is just tree things.
Yeah, standard stuff going on here.
Yeah,
he might
one
even
more
just go
punch.
down. He has probably has the Nature's Grasp in a few seconds here, but Nigma. I think they're just going to be concerned about the fact that this Shadow Demon and OD are 2 of the best ways to deal with Abaddon and Omni, where you just remove heroes from the game and then you focus the other ones. And Abaddon and OD rely on everyone on their team participating in the fight. And I like that that's been RNG's approach to this first round Abaddon and Omni Knight. 2 heroes we've seen pretty much be sought after by every team after the group stage when RNG proved that they could just basically run over everybody with these hard dispels.
Yeah, it's actually almost looking for like, what was it? GH was saying during the interview, like just a meta of their own, right? Like that's what they wanted. But so far, this still feels like it's all been influenced by what's come before.
It is kind of cool throughout the course of this tournament that at the beginning we saw a lot of stomps and it didn't feel like teams were able to figure out how to make their idea of the meta work. And then as they were losing, they kind of figured out, Team Nigma, one of the perfect examples, they were able to figure out, okay, this is our team, like this is the way we want to play's weakness. Let's make sure we avoid just getting ran over at X stage of the game. And it's made a lot of these games a lot more comebacks so far throughout the course of the tournament. A lot of teams we've been seeing up by 5,000 to 10,000 gold, sometime around like the 20-minute mark even, and they lose. So it's kind of interesting that this patch, a lot of people were complaining that you kind of knew who was going to win at 10 minutes, and that's just really not been the case so far in the playoffs.
Yeah. Which we're very, very happy for.
Yeah,
because it's the worst type of voter when you already know the result. The win on draft is the phrase and thing we all wanted to stop using just because we hated what it meant.
It's like you got to be honest with yourself, but at the same time, like you said, it's just not a fun thing to talk about. And just some decent harass coming out in the bottom lane. Both teams, I would say Nigma has no play potential, and then they have so much defense that it makes RNG's play potential in the early stage pretty weak as well. So we should be seeing a pretty passive laning phase.
Yeah. It's just pull points as anyone who potentially just gets out of position. So I wouldn't want to be the cameraman at this point because you will be seeing a lot of heroes running low on life. But one quick combination can make it work. On bottom lane, like Miracle shouldn't go down unless Kuro's just not there. Because even if the Hoofstomp does come in, you're just going to shield him straight back in and Miracle's back to fighting or walking away. Oh, Weeha. Actually, there you go. Setsu, he's burning pretty hard, the banishment. It's
go down.
low
really
damage.
close.
Is it enough with the burn? 2 arrows, 11, 6 HP.
Calculated. Wow, that was ballsy not to salve there.
Now Mind Control, he'll be the first blood up on top lane. September and Monet combining their double slows together to make it very difficult for these melee heroes to walk out.
Yeah, in the past, Drow was always paired with the Banes, the Ogres, the Undying, these like bruiser frontline supports, and Tree basically making Drow even better of a hero this patch than I think she would already be, just because of how good he is, as you saw there, that slows in tandem with one another so strong. You're seeing them try to bully Miracle here, but as I said, there's just so much defense coming out from the side of Nigma with this 5 position of Abaddon that, yeah, you're going to harass him, yeah, you're going to slow down his farm, but killing him seems like a tall task.
Yep. Even as Steve, like, well, I got to banish up the support. Yeah, it's like we can't go for the primary, and even then they're fighting under a level 2 acid spray. Yeah, she decided to go for the 2 points acid and 1 point Greevils. And you know, you need lane presence.
I do like that against cores like Centaur. Super low base armor. Doesn't usually build it that early either. I think he starts with maybe 2 or 3, and the acid spray puts him into negative. So even though he's going on you, as you saw there, Miracle never right-clicked a single time, but he's just running around in circles inside of his acid spray, and you're effectively trading, right? Even though you're spending the entire fight running away. Do have a brief pause here.
Yeah, we're just checking out the scenery. Yeah.
Is this Bukovel or is this the Dota game?
This is Dota. We're inside the game right now. See, I always want to see what happens when the camera goes over the hill, and then you'll see like Bukovel all the way down there.
What's behind the wall?
You see this little ridge? Like we got this little like ice ridge that runs before the wall hits up.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones, but let's not talk about Season 8.
Lest we never forget. So we learn our lessons and never create the same thing again. You know the amount of petitions I saw to have that thing reworked and redone, and all the actors like, we're done with this, we're moving on. There's Bukovel, that's on the other side. See, we should have blended that perfectly coming over the hill, and then Bukovel was up there. But hey, remember, if you're here in Bukovel, wave at the camera, fire off a flare.
That is just a drone flying above, so this is live for people who are just tuning into the finals and haven't been watching the tournament so far. It's been really cool to be watching the ski resort as the tournament goes on. Just something unique about knowing, even though you're seeing the same thing as a lot of other tournaments, that it's actually happening right now.
Yep.
I think that's kind of just a very unique part of the production of this
Speaking of
tournament.
right now, Weeha, he really wants to get this kill on the mid, and I just hear a south burn
No,
as
it
well
was,
as
Weeha.
it sounded like it was OD for a second.
Yeah, I was scared.
He's going to check his particle effects. But that's a good start for Wee. He wasn't 100% on the CS early on, but now he's definitely in front. 17-12 as the 11-6 of the OD. And OD, hey, how does this hero play from behind?
He's not nearly the same hero from behind that he used to be, right, Toby? The orb no longer splashing on those jungle camps. He does not want to jungle early. He kind of wants to shove in the lane with Astral and then leave. And this is not what he's going to be allowed to do. Already a level and a half behind or so.
They're going again up on top lane. Mind control. You can break through the slow a little bit faster, but see, this is the beautiful thing I love about Dro Ranger. It was a few patches ago where her lower level cold arrows got buffed up, so you only need 2 points up in the cold arrows. Miracle, my god, he's low on life, and with the poison, he's totally dead.
Yeah, well, Kuro was, like you said, not there. That's the only time he's ever going to die. Playing a little bit too ballsy there.
Where was he actually venturing? He wasn't going for a ward, and he ran past the rune spot.
I think he was going for a courier, if you want me to be honest, but
Okay.
kind of an odd choice there. Bounty runes, when you have an alchemist, always need to be of concern. Looks like it was an even trade across the board.
Just apart from the fact that you do lose your core, but it's an alchemist. Yeah, you'll get your money back as long as you don't lose complete control of the lane. Deep Observer was starting to be placed out as Shadow Demon's going for his own roam, heading towards the mid lane. Not always the greatest hero combination it feels like. You want to go on a target, what am I going to do? I'm going to disrupt, and then I'm going to imprison. It's like, well, okay, when can I actually dish out some damage? GH, Stick Charge gives him a little bit more life. I was wondering if there's a little dyssynergy there where the Dro Ranger doesn't work just as well. As long as you imprison the right targets, just use them as saves.
Oddly enough, we've been seeing Weeha play Huskar a lot this tournament, even in the safe lane, and he's been in rough lanes a lot of the time. This is really the first time I've seen him in a good Huskar lane, despite the fact that they picked a third, which does bode well for them. The fact that when you have an Alchemist, I don't necessarily concern myself with the death of Alchemist nearly as much as a death of Huskar. Like, that would be very alarming for me, because it's his job to carry the momentum in the mid game before Drow wants to fight. Seeing top, the power of the slows.
GH is dead.
Yeah, there's no way he gets out of this, right? Okay.
No. Mind control is too far off to the side.
You can't even remove the tree slow, right? That's the power of it against the Omni Knight. The Nature's Grasp, it just reapplies itself during the Heavenly Grace.
And they've a nice Dire Observer Ward just on the side of the lanes. They saw the fact that Omni Knight went for a bit of a walk. I don't know if they would have known he put down a fresh Ops. Miracle again, just having to throw down the S spray, trying to keep RNG away from any dive.
Even forcing him to do that outside the creep way is really nice, forcing out the defensive resources. Super does immediately TP to try to help his mid laner.
Yeah, it's because Wee's just underneath the tower. He's got Life Break already up and running. Setsu's not a healthy man. And Super may also just become a target himself. Quick banishment, Setsu waiting as well. Weeha comes out here. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's buying time for Dro Ranger to complete her TP into the volley, and they drop the hammer. Two cores and a support come to the mid lane, and was instantly the rebuttal. Michael was like, I got to get in here. I got to do something. Some chip damage into September, that's all they'll be able to achieve.
That was kind of my concern about Huskar versus Drow. I've not seen that matchup so far this patch, but Drow is just so much physical damage that there's no way you're ever going to armlet toggle or sit at 30-40% health on Huskar. I think you just die in the mid game. You never have enough armor to tank through that. It's so deceiving that Drow just pumps up so much damage in the mid game. So that is concerning to me that he fed that momentum away in the mid lane. He does force 3 reactions, but we didn't exactly see them getting punished elsewhere.
How do you actually itemize for something like that? Because like against ODs, normally like a BKB is the way you go, but if physical damage is your problem, is there other options, even when it's also being delivered through the split shot?
I think you have to get a halberd, and even then, like, that doesn't solve that issue specifically. I think it's going to be on your Alchemist to get in the range of the Drow.
Alchemist is coming top.
This is worth it, right? So much
Hell
gold.
yes. They got 2 Observer Wards
I didn't see how
down.
many creeps that was. Like, I was like, oh, that's a big stack. And then like 6 creeps run around the
Net
side.
worth, we start at 3.4.
Okay,
let's see where we end. The Fade Bolt, okay, well,
It's fine. He's going to get most of these.
Yeah, started at 3.4. Tree's coming over as well, wants to try and contest this. Miracle's not a healthy man. September trying to fight this one off. Miracle still hasn't finished the job just yet. Monet being thrown back away. Miracle protected by the Heavenly Grace, but Monet just keeps moving forward. Miracle can't afford to die. Kuro has now joined the fight, but it all comes a little too late. Monet on the run. Mind control really slowed up by that Tree and Protector as GH got another grip, another hold. Monet just keep moving away. Same with September. And now the Shadow Demon's also rotating up towards the top lane. Nice Fade Bolt from GH. Gets the kill onto September. But for that whole move, combining with Death, All you gained was 170 net worth. Not the best timing from Super, working with Monet.
I don't think Nigma expected that to take so long.
And now he's going to walk jungle. Does he TP? Weeha, Setsu, he'll burn.
That was such good use of his disarm when the OD turned around to Astral him there, knowing that the TP plus the Astral would be enough time to potentially even kill him. Maybe the Astral alone would have been enough damage, so that was really heads-up play by Weeha there, knowing that his Burning Spears would finish the kill.
Weeha is just going to jump up the hill, pushes him away, and Super will burn. I like how GH is trying to wait this out, making sure that Weeha is the one to get the momentum. 3 braces, and the Arcane Ring to go with the phase boots.
That is such a value item, giving Huskar armor as well as some intelligence mana to spam his first spell. And against OD, giving yourself a little bit of mana doesn't hurt either. That's actually an insanely value item on a strength hero this particular game.
I don't know if Nigma is still going to be happy with the bottom lane. We've got 10-minute outposts about to come up, but the bottom lane's been totally sacrificed. Miracle's gone jungle. September says, well, trees are my domain. Wants to come over and contest.
You talked about this at minute 0. You wanted to see the supports from RNG run at this Alchemist. Just making him be inefficient, even if you can't kill him because you're not the most aggressive supports. Just being obnoxious like Tree, where you can just tree walk and follow him around. Centaur's one of the most efficient heroes in the game when he's not contested. As you see here, he's top of the network charts. Like, he's within contesting range of all the others. And nobody on the side of Nigma wants to go there. Huskar never plays his own safe lane. You know, the support Abaddon's not strong enough. The Omni Knight has to apply pressure top. Who goes there, right? Like, that's kind of just it is effectively a dead lane for them already at 10 minutes.
There isn't even an answer. Like, it's like, what do you even want? I wouldn't even be happy to go against that Centaur to get like something like a Silver Edge, and then maybe I'd be okay with going at him.
You're just so scared of, if you TP bottom, RNG's a good enough team to know, hey, we're just going to bring a second hero to help the Centaur. Like, they're going to leave him alone for now, but if you bring somebody else, he's like, okay, I'll just pop my Stampede and kill you.
Yep.
I like that Nigma's trading here, though. This is what they need to do since they can't go bottom. Need to force RNG away.
He's not in range to get the jump over on Super. Got a couple of poisons stacked up, but they're just making sure the catapult stays up. And goodbye, tier 1. Abaddon is actually on the bottom lane, so Kuro, he does have level 6. He does actually have that ability to trigger up the ultimate. He was holding it for as long as he possibly could, and now more support's on the way. Flywind still trying to stay with the fight, but Weeha, now he'll go for this. The Stampede is out, the disarm back. GH gets the pickup, throwing back the Centaur. They can't get the distance. Kuro still barely alive. Flywind makes a break for the tree line, begins his TP up, and he one more attack, and they've got it from Weeha. September hanging around in the trees. They got what they sort of wanted, which was the tier 1 tower, but a high cost coming in from the Centaur. And
Huskar gaining a lot of gold there from the kills. Like a hero that does not naturally flash farm this stage of the game, putting him that much closer to an Armlet, that's almost a full component. So, I mean, this is scary. This is Nigma hitting... This is the timing that I was thinking RNG needed to punish, this 10 to like 18-minute window where Alchemist doesn't have his Radiance BKB yet, and Nigma is actually taking over the game in terms of map control, leaving a lot of pressure on this Alchemist. Weeha doing a great job.
This is going to be such a fun game for GH with all the steals he's able to get. Tree Protector will always give him something he wants.
Yeah, well, the idea is they give Treant a really broken new spell. Just pick a hero that can steal the spell, and it's countered. Boom. Right there, right? Let's think about it.
And that's what he's leveling up maximum as well, too. So 12 minutes in, you got 2 level 3 abilities.
No overgrowth on the tree to cancel that TP.
So now that RNG, like, it feels like they're not able to control the tempo anymore. Like, they're a little bit reactionary. Like tier 1 tower, Weeha's getting more aggressive. Like, Flywind, even if he has escaped from this one, SD's rotating bottom. They're bringing 4 heroes down. In fact, Fly doesn't even get himself out of here. Monet's moved over. Kuro needs to give him the shield, protecting Weeha as much as he can, even with the mist coil. Weeha jumping in over on Illusion. The OD hammer drops.
He might be healing too much.
Yeah, he is. Weeha still coming back up again, but there's still enough damage. He's toggling his way through this one. Weeha, Kuro's giving him more life. They just keep going. Another jump in as he got the inner fire. GH staying with him.
He's just healing
now
launching the
from GH. He steals the Astral. He can remove the Drow Ranger so we can focus on Super. Now they turn their attention back over to Osensu. Weeha, a double bloody fucking kill. Nigma actually pushed back RNG. That was not meant to happen that way. They just got outplayed.
If any of the viewers at home were wondering if you get health regen while you're in Astral, that answers your question. He got Astral at like 100 health both times, and by the time he comes out of it, he doesn't die. I mean, that's just crazy. I almost think that's exactly what Nigma's lineup wants you to do, and since they're ahead already, RNG, the damage, like, oh, that's the heroes like Huskar. If you just can't quite finish them off, they just shred you. He's like the perfect example. He does more damage the lower health he is, Toby.
And he took your 2 huge cores as well. Meanwhile, Miracle getting more space. That's how I was starting up the conversation before that fight began. It's like, so now that you can't invade the jungle, Miracle's able to farm, but now you've got 2 supports and 2 cores and a support trying to regather their feet. Miracle moves even further ahead.
When I said RNG, the way they've been playing is so well, it's this point in the game that they almost always have control. And this game is just Nigma really showing them like how broken a bad and Omni are that you can just pick them first round, and it's just so hard in this patch, it seems like, to deal with these strong dispels. Legion's kind of like the forgotten, middle child that nobody wants to draft unless the other 2 are taken. But in this case, oh my God, committing on a Huskar like that just feels so bad. I'm sure everyone's been there at least once in their Dota time.
14.5-minute Radiance is your timing for the Alchemist.
And he was pressured a lot, even died in lane.
Yep.
That's just the nature of Alchemist, right? You leave him alone. And this is so scary for a hero like Drow, because if Alchemist is up in your face mid-game, you're spending the entire time running, and all the damage you're supposed to pump out. Big trade here. He doesn't want to hit the tower, but he does get the second hit, so he gets the last hit. But all that time you want to spend basically just cranking out right clicks from the back, you're running, and that damage from Monet is going to be negligible as long as he has that Alchemist in his face. I'd almost like to see like a BKB Blink from Miracle, but he might go just for the luxury items like the AC because he has 2 saves on his team.
Imagine you start, double armlet toggling both. It's like, good luck.
WeHa's armlet toggles were pretty damn sick there. That was...
Yeah.
Those are like game-winning armlet toggles, right? Like that can be make or break in a game like this.
That's your momentum. That's the OD moving ahead or falling behind, and he was already a little bit further behind. So Miracle gets to hold the mid. RNG, they don't want to fight into this Radiance, even though Alchemist, I think like maybe they can break through him when his Chemical Rage is down.
Grove Bow is a nice item to be picking up for this Dire lineup. Looks like they're trying to make something happen on the Mind Control Omni Knight top. One of the reasons I love this hero as an offlaner is not only is he a good team fighter, but he's also really hard to gank. But they have brought, I believe, the necessary resources to do so.
That is one very dead Mind Control. They'll make him work for it. As
Dire's middle tower.
mid tower will be the trade-off. You get the kill on the Omni Knight. There's a Blink Dagger that got picked up by the Alchemist. So you get your aggressive concoction jump forward, even the level 10 talent. Lowering it.
I really do believe the best defense against a Drow is a good offense. I know that's kind of like a cliche, but...
Does this feel like such bait? Kuro's hanging by. Here comes your Blink Dagger reveal. Miracle's ready to go for the jump. He gets in right on top of Zetsu. They push him back. The Ogre will create some space, and WeHa hit by the hammer. He is brought down thanks to the extra Fade Balls. Miracle shielded up, but he's losing his own life. Enigma, maybe they bit off a lot more than they could chew. As Kuro is surrounded by 5 heroes, RNG brought all the reinforcements. And I guarantee you, Kuro is dead.
That's a bold statement, Toby, but I will say that that's an odd choice for Nigma to be making when their Omni Knight just fed top, and he's your crucial part of your team fight that really makes the difference for Huskar barely living or not. Same with Alchemist, and when these heroes just get bursted down, it really is feast or famine with these types of heroes. They either get bursted instantly and do nothing, or they live on a sliver of health and just sustain and kill you with all the damage that they're naturally doing with their abilities. In terms of the Alchemist, it's the Radiance, but now we do have the Invisible Tree. Maybe he can look to set up kills for his team just by supplying the vision. I mean, they are up by 5,000 gold on Nigma, but this is with an Alchemist, so it can be a bit deceiving. I still believe Nigma's in control of this game, and around the 25-minute mark, we're going to have to turn the watches on for what Blizzard was talking about.
That's our 5-minute timing? Is it 25?
I think that's what he said.
Well, the scan already comes from Dire looking towards Roshan. Obviously, when you use the hammer, you wonder, like, an overgrowth down, stampede down. It does feel like Roshan's good, and actually, it's scanned ping pop, I believe, from the Dire side. It did actually go red. So in they go inside the pit. SD is nearby. Roshan's dying real quick as WeHa is on like 15% HP. Super, Blink, Stun Concoction, Miracle. That's a quick and easy pickup.
Stolen Disruption, so another save.
Meanwhile, WeHa protected by Mind Control. So Roshan will go the way, and this is the dream if you have a Huskar lineup. Having Huskar not only with a full finished halberd to go with the armlet, but the Aegis the Immortal, a license to dive.
Is under attack.
Yeah, I was expecting their timing to be around this moment in the game for Nigma. They hit it much earlier than I expected, but this is go time. Like, even though you have this Alchemist, you think you have like the nice scalability and the carry roll. This is
Meat Hammer.
oh, Tree's actually really farmed, surprisingly. I didn't realize he had that much net worth. There must have been like fights in the mid lane.
Okay, Miracle's going to go back to farm the lane up. Hey, Kuro, can you handle this for me instead?
This is like 400 gold he's sacrificing by spending 10 seconds here. Standard Alchemist thing.
He didn't lose a single hit in the creep wave that was there, so it's...
Fair enough, fair enough.
He still has most of it. Weeha in mind control.
I love the way they're distributing their resources on Team Nigma.
Super. Jump forward, Super still has defensive imprisonment, but he'll use it offensively. Mind control is nearby, but Weeha's already out. And Super living armor that does not protect you, even the inner fire being triggered by Wee. Just to get that last little bit of oomph.
Yeah, the way they're sitting one save behind each hero. They have the Omni Knight behind the Huskar. They had the Abaddon with the Alchemist earlier, just giving RNG really no plays. I think because you're mobile enough on the Alchemist, you can close the gap. Oh, Tree's sneaking in the...
Yeah, 30 seconds before the outposts are going to give reward, so it's really good time for September to hang around.
And he has the meme hammer, as you said, to cancel. He's going to do it again, it looks like.
Yep, Miracle.
Obnoxious.
He'll be receiving it. But 25-second cooldown on that meme hammer means he can't drop it again. So it will be a 1-for-1 outpost trade.
There's a lot of space made by one support when you're down by 6,000 gold, allowing the OD, which not necessarily a tower hitter. Does do a little bit of damage, I assume, to the bottom tower.
It's at least solo experience in some space.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you'll take that. You'll have to back up and finally pick up those bounty runes, but Weeha wants to keep the pressure on because you're right, like Nigma are on a timer, which means they need to start beating through things, and they can't just do it half-assed either. Treant will heal up these towers. If you're going to take him, you're going to take him. Now Meme Hammer, another drop, mind control, looking through the trees. Maybe it's time to have that Gem of True Sight. The tower, more living armor, and no creep wave. They'll even burn the fortification, but they keep the fortification to the Radiant side up, but of course the timing's a little bit off. Miracle gets to jump over towards Monet, Flywind.
Nice
oh man, Miracle just walks away from the Hoofstomp. GH out with a pickup, dragging back the Centaur. He's still waiting, and now jump forward. Mind control, what have you got? You got OD. The GH has to be burned, but the hammer doesn't care anything about that. Mind control is already dead. Defensive imprisonment coming out. Miracle breaking free pretty quickly. Kuro losing his life, goes up the hill. Didn't have borrowed time available, while Miracle can get himself a double stun. 4 heroes, 5 heroes stand together as RNG and GH. He was coming over. He had Astral available.
They might be able to get Huskar if they look.
They're thinking about it. They want to finish off the Rubik to begin with. September's making the run through the tree line, and now Overgrowth over towards Weeha. Weeha then starts jumping forward towards September. September being chased by the creep wave, but hey, he can go invis because that's what trees do.
He managed to get in range of the trees right before the Huskar dunk landed, allowing him to walk away. They even forced out a buyback by going on the Huskar there, so that's another net worth bolster to the RNG side, or take away, so to speak, from the Nigma side. It's so weird. I thought RNG's time was 10 minutes, and they got ran over by Nigma with the Huskar, and then I thought this was Nigma's time, and they're getting ran over by RNG. So the lack of mobility from Nigma's team, other than pretty much this Blink Alchemist, is going to be a thorn in their side when RNG can separate them without all 5 heroes there. Seeing that punished by not having Weeha at that fight, even though he has the Aegis, the best way to deal with an Aegis Huskar, generally speaking, is to just act like he doesn't exist.
That time around, they're just like, well, we will. You can run back to your tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, September doing what Tree's done best. Split pushing and being a real pain in the ass. Smoke up from Nigma. They are far enough away from Dire Vision, but this hasn't been scouted out, and Weeha revealing the fact that Omni is behind him by having that Heavenly Grace on him, but he wants to try and keep the pressure. Remember, it's the towers, it's the removal of map control of RNG that Nigma need. They need a path with an Aegis Maul to claim an objective.
Yeah, I think their timing is the second Aegis, so they need to get as much done now. But yeah, Treant is meteor hammering the bottom lane as well, so RNG has no doubt been getting good trades on the map while Nigma's taking these towers. They didn't even take top tower, by the way, for Nigma there. So a lot of good stalling. They do just need to outlast the second Aegis, in my opinion. Alchemist does scale much better in the late game than he used to, but by no means do I doubt Drow lineups later on. We've seen how much raw damage they just vomit on the other team. It's like so free too. You give the OD a bunch of attack speed, and most notably armor. You give to these heroes like OD that generally can't just man up on you. That agility that is provided with the Drow around you does give like 13 to 14 free agility later on, or free armor later on in the game.
Nigma need to start cleaning off these trees somehow. Tier 2 tower will be claimed. That's now the mid and the top, leaving only 1 remaining out of tower. And an Alchemist, yeah, you know where you need to go. Miracle to the farm that was on bottom lane. Not as much damage as I thought would be on that tier 3 tower, only losing like maybe a sixth of it.
Yeah, the only hero that can do damage to towers is Drow, maybe the Centaur, but neither of those heroes really wants to show on tower. Centaur because he's a threat, Drow because she's too squishy. Like the Force Staff is just not enough to get away if Nigma were to TP onto you with a Blink Alchemist. And you don't exactly have saves that get you away from the Alchemist. You have stalls, but they're not stuff that helps you split push better and survive. They're more so like in team fights, it punishes you for getting gone on, or it punishes the opponent for focusing you. The Lotus Orb from Centaur, that's actually a really good item against heroes like Rubik, Huskar, Alchemist, all these single target spells that either do damage or stun.
So we're hitting that 25-minute mark we're talking about. Does not feel like the Alchemist is the frontline brawler you expect of him. Obviously, you need to watch the item progression a little closer for it.
Yeah, what I love about OD Shadow OD and Shadow Demon against the Omni Knight Abaddon is that you just have unpurgeable stuns. Like the disruption in the Astral Imprisonment. Yeah, the Heavenly Grace removes lowers the duration of them, but you can't purge those disables, and that's a really big deal to have on low cooldowns.
Beamhammer, OD starting his TP in, then Weehar's pretty low, super coming in, getting the quick purge off, nice pickup, and that's GA trying to create a little bit of space so Weehar could just die a little slower. Even the volley, man, back to the tier 1 tower. Kura's out so far to get a lot of his life back. Quick little banishment. So they want to try and fight Flywind, waiting in the tree lines, ready to blink himself in if he needs to do so. Kura's already going to drop down, spends his last bit of money to get that Vlad's completed.
I honestly feel like Nigma's missed their window. I don't think you scale well in this game. They've been itemizing to kite you on RNG. All of their abilities naturally kite you. They have 2 Hurricane Pikes, a Lincoln's on OD. How often do you see second item Lincolns on an Outworld Devourer? If you're not killing them, they're going to kill you super fast with their range damage. They do get the lift onto the tree, but he's not scared. He's 2 heroes not even there for Nigma, and the other 2 are dead.
Yeah, he's still living armor. That's a small perk.
And a Paladin Sword found by the Alchemist, really good on Huskar. Usually, I don't know if it's really that great this game, because every time he just tries to lifesteal back up, you can disrupt him or imprison him.
I got an Assault Cuirass in for the Alchemist.
I think RNG came into this series being like, we're the ones that defined Omni Knight Abaddon as these meta heroes. We know how to beat it. We know how to play it better than you do. We're going to conceptually counter, and I really like the idea behind their draft, giving it away to Nigma. Even if they end up losing this game, it really makes sense what their goal was. Being such an annoyance on tree, yeah, go ahead and gank that guy. He's invis in the trees. Good luck.
Yeah, it's like you have no flying vision. What are you going to do, put something down Tinker Wards?
Yeah,
so you can see him moving?
And a sentry and hope he's there, and then you still have to catch him before he gets outside of the sentry range because he can just walk through trees. I almost wonder if, like, damage of some capacity should remove the passive, even if you're in range of trees. Like, the fact that you're in trees and you're safe, like that, you're good to go. It seems a little, we'll just say, inappropriate, Toby.
Inappropriate, yeah. Or OS Frog.
That works too.
4 heroes from Nigma grouping up in the mid lane. A little uncertain what they're trying to do apart from just babysit Miracle so he can continuously farm up, working his way in towards the BKB. Just have the Quiver to give over as well as the Aquila.
Such a late BKB. It does benefit you that you have a longer duration BKB this late, but I almost think it was more important that they hit that timing. You see the Manta, Hurricane Pike, Lincolns. I love the way RNG is itemizing. They just have to not get bursted at the start. They just have to kite out the defensive spells from Nigma and then turn on you with all of their, like, re-engage with the Centaur ultimate, the Treant ultimate, the Shadow Demon disruption, the OD disruption. Like, they could easily pick and choose when they want to go on you.
Yeah.
It's really cool. The whole team seems to be on the same page. Something really can learn from when you're watching these games.
This is what Mind Control's turned into. He's like running a support Omni Knight at this point. I'm going to Heavenly Grace you, and that's all. The Observer Wards are very defensive for the Radiant side, watching deep inside of their own jungles, both north and south. Great scan from RNG. They kind of knew already where Nigma was.
I think they were trying to get a pick off for Roche there. Both teams knowing it's the point of contention this game.
And if they can walk up the hill, then it would be nice, but that's what that scan kind of tells them, right? And you already sent the Rubik down to the bottom lane. So he's just trying to push that side lane out. Both outposts belong to RNG. And we are approaching the 30-minute mark. Radiant will get their own scan off, realizing there's people to the north of Roshan. But because the scan doesn't trigger again, they know that no one's inside of Roshan. They're just walking around the back. So a fun position to scan that. How precise really do you get with those with the radar scan, so you get that level of info.
It is pretty crazy. Like, I really like the addition of scans. I think it was almost like it is a great way to come back into the game and a way to scout out when you're behind. It was really hard to get back on the map a lot of times, and sometimes you just want to move back onto your high ground and you need to scan just so you know you can walk there without running into 4 heroes. And I think it's a cool mechanic, mainly for the team that's behind. Dota in general in the recent past has been struggling to allow teams up way back in the game. I think scans have always been good for that. But it benefits both teams too. You know, the offensive team used it to look for a smoke. The other team knows Roche is the point of contention, so they're going to be scanning that. Looks like Nigma wants to make a scan or makes a smoke play around Roche as well, but RNG, they're just posed on the hill.
They're here for the outpost. 30 seconds until it is up. Of course, they don't know if there's going to be a tree, but by smoking up, you at least know they're picking the exact spot the tree's been sitting. Dropping the hammer before.
That never feels good, though, to have to 5-man smoke just for an outpost. It's like, yeah, it's probably worth it because you have nothing better
And now
to
look
do,
at RNG. It's like, well, 20 seconds. Like, their smoke's not going to last very long. Smoke's going to break. Weeha actually walks inside the pit.
He has no way out.
The barbs are already down. Yeah, how the hell does he get out of here? Even Roshan. Oh, the force up! He didn't get pushed further out. Now Sensu, Weeha has no other choice but to jump into this fight. Hooks up out. Miracle gets an over on Mona in the back lines, but quick imprisonment takes him out of the fight as well. Baseball, lower the damage. Stampede, this is the reset from RNG.
Can Nigma punish this? I don't know. They still have the Trian ultimate. They still have the OD ultimate.
They still need to just go back and pick up all these bounty runes. They're worth so much with an Alchemist on your side. Just as long as Roshan's not taken, the Sentry's going to get dewatered, but the Observer won't. Is far enough to the southwest in the river that that Sentry won't reach it.
Man, Keen Optic and Quickening Charm, 2 amazing items on Shadow Demon. The impact of supports this patch is, we've been talking about it all tournament, these neutral items, most notably for supports. Sometimes they're game-changing for cores, but at this stage in the game, I hear like Shadow Demon giving him that slightly lower cooldown.
They started going on him as he was just on a bit of a dewarding mission. SD out, Miracle jumps in, Concoction actually being wasted over on the Lincoln Spear, so Setsu, he'll come back down again. He was just held in position by the telekinesis, but Miracle perched up as well. Who do they move to? Towards Monet, has to jump forward, but Weeha stays with him, but the inner five pushing them further away. Once again, RNG trying to disengage here, and they're able to do so thanks to their imprisonments. Concoction Sun's not hitting exactly what they want as Weeha. Just give him the Heavenly Grace. RNG showing that they can actually get away without having the Stampede, even if Nigma are standing right on top of them.
So much disengage. You see, it's like,
back
to
a mobile wall. Back to Roshan again.
Yep. Cat and mouse, baby. Nigma has to force a fight. This is their time. It never gets easier. No Alchemist ultimate.
Yeah, Chemical Rage on cooldown for a while. Flywind jumps in, gets the double stun. Weeha as well as Miracle, the 2 cores. Having a hard time. Roshan down to 25% now, make it even lower than that. Flywind's just keeping information. Miracle imprisoned up. He'll come out and throw that instant concoction. And who's he going to get? He actually is Flywind. Flywind actually snatches the Aegis Immortal, ready to get the kill over on Roshan, but who's really going to come out of this one? Flywind just going to have the Aegis Immortal crack with Monet and Setsu sitting in the backlines, continuously building up more and more. That hammer, it hasn't dropped just yet, and now maybe it's the time. Everyone's grouped up, all 5 together, and September, he's trying to keep them under control, but the range damage, no, the Hoofstomp, not exactly what they wanted. Weeha's pushed far enough away. Miracle, ready for another concoction done. Unaffected with the Lincoln Sphere, it absorbs it. Weeha gets smashed by the hammer. A quick push away, GH, silence. He's trying to get himself up the hill, but it won't happen. He can't get far enough away as Flywind keeps the chase going. Overwatch Kuro to hit a double stun. Miracle and Kuro both being caught out. Buybacks are available, but at this point, you're just trying to get out with what you've got. And Nigma, they'll have one hero, Mind Control. That's all they've got. And look how quickly Monet's coming over to try and do something about it.
I just love watching this quality of Dota at a minor. You know, people were questioning whether or not minors are even worth watching sometimes in the between the difference of quality between a major and a minor. But these two teams clearly poised either one that wins. They're both impressing me. RNG playing their lineup to perfection. Trying to force buybacks here, pushing the high ground.
That's not what GH wanted. And we get double edge. With no fortification left anymore, RNG will take this mid lane of Rax. Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane is taking a fair chunk of damage while they do this. They may just take the melee and back up. And that's exactly what is going to happen.
Essence Ring's actually insane on OD. Usually a hero that's only real problem is health sustain, never has mana problems. So usually the only downfall of that neutral item is how much mana it costs. This pretty crazy. You can't even imagine how each neutral item is good on different heroes. The smoke up, the tree's probably just going to break it, though. Yep, standard stuff.
Right on the back lines. Hey, does someone bring any kind of detection? Where is he? He's ping, 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 ping. Can't see Jack.
So annoying to get out of base against a tree. Like, what are you supposed to do against that?
Nothing. You have to wait until they come high ground away from all the trees. If you can cut them down, that would help.
Even if you don't get a kill, Nigma was just trying to get out on the map with that smoke, and Tree just already breaks it and scouts out 4 heroes, so they know exactly what's happening on RNG. That's a heavy investment. That's a limited resource at this stage in the game that really is your only way back in the game when you're this far behind. Yeah, they're only down by 5,000, but this is an Alchemist lineup, and if you look at the net worths of Radiant, Alchemist is not a hero that uses gold. You know, gold per effectiveness is not very high on that hero.
Mm-hmm. Can he start giving things over which make it better for the rest of them? Like, I don't think like the Axe GA is gonna be good. Maybe a Batten.
Yeah, it's just like the problem is all these ults are super defensive. I mean, yeah, Rubik or whatever, but there's RNG is showing that they're not going to commit onto you when you have GA. They're going to force you to use it because they have so much long-range poke, and then they're just going to back off the minute you GA.
GH is buying his own Aghanim Scepter. In fact, it was a moonshot in the quick buy for Miracle.
Okay. They need to somehow burst a target through the 5 or 6 saves that RNG has.
Yeah, it's like how many times have we seen Lisetsu's Lincoln Sphere actually trigger?
Yeah. Super value.
Monet built the same one as well, so they can just put like double layers on.
I honestly would have never envisioned them going double Lincoln Sphere this game, but it's proving to be incredibly powerful. And I think that every game, I've talked about this time and time again, one team has to itemize to kill the other, and the other team kind of naturally kills the other, so they just have to itemize to live. That almost happens every single game. And in this case, you're seeing RNG just knowing as long as we survive, our abilities alone will deal plenty of damage, so we do not need to do that. On the other hand, Miracle, instead of giving his team Ag Scepters, is going for a Moonshard.
He's going to get the hell out of here right now. RNG smoked up and ran all the way further north. Team Nigma are in full retreat, while hanging also over near the outpost. I get a little extra detection as Treant does walk under this quick concoction. They started off, they want to just kill this Treant, but have they done it? No, he'll get back in. His sentry wall is being planted down. September needs to move himself back over into the fog of war. Same with Flywin. They haven't burned the Stampede yet, so RNG feel pretty damn good about this initiation. And with Kuro's borrowed time, the only reason he's still alive now. Back under their obs and sentry. Hoofstomp forward. Weeha pushing back Flywin. With that inner fire, GH, well, not exactly what he was searching for either. Banishment, broken free. Banishment, broken free. And now a pickup, throw it back, but the damage onto Weeha so damn high. He has to jump now onto the Centaur for the G8. Wow, that's really, really late. Nigma trying to retreat back out, but now we go once again with the banishment. Kuro is down. Mind control, force-stuffed up and away. But RNG want to keep going. The Hoofstomp catches him just on the edge. Buyback comes in from Huskar. As RNG move through the top into the middle, they get the kill on mind control. Also buyback, but Miracle dying on the front lines. They're going to commit, what, 4 buybacks to try and defend this? Monet's already got himself a triple kill, and it feels like all the damage of Nigma is very inadequate.
They're just so conceptually countered by this RNG draft. Even if you Guardian Angel the Huskar there, he's just going to get Shadow Demon ulti. That ability continuously purges through BKB. Just removes the Guardian Angel. Yeah, it doesn't remove the Heavenly Grace, but that doesn't matter. They don't care about that. None of their abilities really care about status resistance. Such a genius draft, honestly, for RNG. Wow, that was a long banishment. Assuming, yeah, that is a Rubik banishment.
It is. He's returned it over towards Weeha. Purge as well. Flywin once again able to get a good hoof stomp off, but Weeha now a little bit more damage. Flywin maybe a little bit too deep. Light Break pushing him a long way out. Lotusor trying to protect this Centaur as much as he can as a 3-man silence. Also does this work. Stampede, retreat back out. Light Break's on cooldown for another 2 seconds, but GH got the banishment. That'll last for a good 1 hour as we are another jump forward going towards Tetsu. Able to disarm on the back lines. Flywin won't be got stolen this time around. Sakuga hoof stomp if GH can get to the front lines, but Weeha hit by the meme hammer and all the orbs from Setsu. How much int has he got? Monet wants to keep going as well. BKB for Miracle is going to wear off in a second. And RNG ready to keep on going, beating into these tier 4 towers. It feels like the last roll of the dice for Nigma. Hoping it doesn't come up Snake Eyes. As they're right on top of the fountain. To jump in, GH gets a double stun. Miracle, where's his follow-up? He's actually just standing there and dying. That's all he can really achieve for his team. SD is the only one to really die. Mind control will fall, and RNG are just finishing the job. Miracle pushed away by Monet. The damage is back online, and GG. RNG waited out the timing window, and then they slammed it shut in Nigma's face.
Yeah, they definitely survived through that 5 to 10 minute window that the panelist desk was giving them. And I don't know, I love to watch good Dota, man. Both teams play their lineup really well, and I think that the mistakes were really